Okay, so today we're gonna review the E30 M3, but unfortunately I don't have an M3 in my garage or anywhere near. So the solution is this setup. I'll be testing a E30 M3 in two different games. I know that it sounds kind of weird, but you know, I just want to do it. So the video will have four different parts. The first part will be a look, the styling thing about the E30 M3. The second part will be me driving the car in a game, but you know. The third part will be what I think about the car when it comes to feeling the car, its culture, its vibe, and how it's situated in my mind. And the fourth part will be the part where I'll tell you about the usage of the car. How am I going to use the car? How it's going to be if I had the car, if I had the build. So when it comes to looks, I've seen couple of 3 Series, couple of E30s, the coupes, sedans, but I've seen the E30 M3 like twice in my life, and once like up close. And basically what I think about the car is that it's hard to tell from the photos and videos how much of a thing are those wheel arches. And sometimes in photos and videos it might seem like they are huge, like they are just too much, they are too beefy, especially when it comes to those builds where people be putting really big wheels onto the car, like 18s, and they might seem like too much of a thing. Like a E30, a coupe or a sedan is much simpler, much more classy, much more gangster, I suppose, like a 80s, 90s BMW. But the thing is that when I saw this car for once up close, those wheel arches are not that huge. They are really, really delicate. They really fit into the chassis. Like, if you don't really focus on a chassis, it seems like they don't exist. So when it comes to these wheel arches, basically, if I had to get a E30, if I had to get a E30, I think that I would like the one with the arches. I would like the E30 M3 chassis much rather than the normal E30. But the thing is that it's kind of like when I'm looking at the spoiler of the car, it's really cool and nice, but at the same time it kind of takes away of this mysterious, this kind of low-key vibe of the 90s, 80s BMW, this kind of a gangster car. The spoiler on the E30 M3 is really like a bit of a show-off, but the thing is that it kind of works well with those wheel arches. It's not like, if you take away the spoiler and just left the wheel arches, it just doesn't look good. It's not the same. I remember like playing with it on some game. I don't know what game it was, but I was testing different like looks out, and just wheel arches without the spoiler are just, it's not it. It's kind of like it lacks something. So this is a thing, like in my opinion, like wheel arches are amazing. They make this car so much more. But for this video to be short, I think the E30 M3 BMW is such an amazing car. It's so good, especially when you put a right wheel onto it with the right spacer, or maybe not a spacer, but just simply the suspension placement and everything to make the wheel really fit into the arch. It's just so beautiful. I think it's just, oh my god. It's really, especially those DTM cars, those DTM videos, those is just, it looks so good. And I'm gonna put it like this. I think that E30 M3 chassis and the whole build is just so cool. This car, like, I like to be in a slide. I feel really comfortable when I'm braking and kind of the front tires squeaking and you kind of steering into a corner. I feel really comfortable. It's like the car rests on its tires, on suspension. It's comfortable. It's not scary to do it. I like to do it. It gives me satisfaction to do it in this car. It's not scary. It's not like it gives me, you know, flashbacks of me completely obliterating the corner. The car is peaceful. But at the same time, if you want it, like, you can make it oversteer, you can make it disappoint the car because it listens to you. I think it's I think that when it comes to it being it's friendly. It's friendly. It doesn't want to end you and like rip your soul out and just make you cry and make you want to buy an SUV. It's a extremely pleasant car on a track. I mean, in a game, but I think they capture its character. Try this out. Here we'll be taking the Nordschleifer and we'll be changing the car to a BMW M3 Group A. Oh, you see, I mean, those two. Okay, we'll see all four of these. The drift one, the drift competition, the Group A from 92, and just simple Group A. Because this one, I think it's much more beefier when it comes to horsepower, and it makes it much more harder to drive. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. Damn, I mean, the Group A car is much freaking. Damn. Shit. Fucking hell. It's much harder, rougher, more raw, and especially the power deliveries. It has much more of a punch. Hearing the gearbox making noises. This is much more of a. Oh shit! Oh, you need to excuse me for for the driving, cause like doing this in such a setup, it's a bit challenging. I mean, especially maybe not steering as much of a steering, but putting like operating pedals the right way is much harder here because of how my legs are squeezed under the table and overall my posture. The pedals are the problem here. But okay, now let's take the BMW, but let's take the same BMW, but let's change. Okay, so this BMW has 290 brake horsepower, where the BMW right now will have 3 more than 350 brake horsepower, so it's much more powerful. And yeah. Okay, it's even more rougher and harder to drive. I mean, especially at the end of the rev range, it kind of has this kick of horsepower, and it kind of feels like this super kick of power from the turbine. It feels sharper in every way, and in kind of a bad way. I mean, when it comes to like lack of skill. Oh shoot! Oh. Damn it. Yeah, it's definitely much harder to drive than the standard Group A version. It's especially it's just sharper and more aggressive in every way. Especially the kickback on the rev range is just really. Plus, also I guess the brakes are even just sharper. You need more precision to operate brakes in this car. More precision than in those previous cars. One thing is that it makes you focus so much more. It's kind of hard to talk and express what I feel, but it gets you focused, and it's pleasant. It's pleasant to get focused like that, to feel so many things. Damn it! To feel so many things from the road, from the car, and it kind of like even those things being amplified. It's kind of a good. It's really good to get focused like that. That this car makes you focus much more. The car gets you in a zone. The car gets you silent even. It's pleasant to feel everything from the car, from the road. That is, I would even say that although all the information is being amplified by the car, how rough and how raw, heavy metal this car is, how aggressive and hard this car is to drive, and how much more amplified all the signals and information that you get is. It's cool. It's cool, but it's demanding. It gets you tired. But that's I think the craftsmanship to get in the zone and to be relaxed. Okay, the car is kind of a snap. Yeah, you know, the setup doesn't allow me for much, because if I start to like play with the steering wheel more aggressively, I will just rip it off, because it's on those sticks, because it's like too thin, so I need to get those sticks. But it is snappy. It is snappy. I know that like the setup doesn't allow me to drive fully, but the car is snappy. When you turn the wheel the other way, when you want to get back on track, get out of the drift, it is freaking snappy. In this version of the car, I'd say that it's not that easy car to be drifting. I know that the Supra the drifting Supra is much easier to do it than this car. But really the setup doesn't allow me for the really, oh my, god damn it, the right amount of playing, but damn. But most definitely the car snaps. It snaps. It's just snappy when it comes to getting it into a drift, and then it wants to snap out of the drift really quite fast, which is I don't think is that good. I don't like it that much. See, it's kind of like you need to work with the steering wheel much more than you had to do with different cars. For example, the Supra, it has the drift version here. It's much more subtle. It guides you, not like gives you challenges, gives you like tasks to do. Because you can still manage to drift this car pretty easily, but it's just you have handful of tasks on your handful of tasks, and the Supra is not like that. God dang. The Supra is much more of a car that see, it's kind of like, it's not intuitive that much. It kind of like you need to adjust to this car. It's not like universal. It's not that easy, I think. Maybe it's because of it's shorter, the shorter wheelbase. It's not that long of a car, which makes it more snappy. So the drifting it's not the hardest, but it's like not the easiest car in a world to do it. Damn it, okay. When it comes to the vibe that this car has, overall the E30, but I would specify that E30 M3, because like I said previously, when it comes to looks, the vibe differs when it comes to being low-keying and being kind of a superhero. And in my mind, this car has a vibe of a German or Polish or Slovakian, like Slavic, German or Slavic summer, a really hot summer. It has a vibe of this green grass, of all those plants, all those flowers. It has a vibe of a blue sky, but I have to specify that it has a vibe of a summer, of a really hot summer in like Germany or in Slavic countries, because plus of course the 80s and 90s, the summer in those countries in this time. It's kind of like a Corvette having a vibe, an old Corvette having a vibe of America, not Europe. And I want to specify that this car has this vibe. And also when I'm thinking about the E30 M3, I always think about like countryside, villages, curvy roads through different fields, in a summer, in a golden summer, especially when when it starts to get like a golden hour, and then you pick up a car and then you drive it, and this is the pictures, the vibe that like my mind suggests when I'm thinking about the E30 M3. But especially a countryside, summer, 90s, 80s, in Europe, in Central Europe, in Germany, in Poland, in those areas, and a countryside, whether it's a countryside in Poland, like we have here, whether it's or even maybe much more of a countryside in Germany, in Bavarian region, in Switzerland, in Austria, when there's much more mountains and much more corners on a normal roads. This is what I think about when it comes to E30 M3, a summer on a countryside in Central Europe. And especially when it comes to light, a sunlight, when the sun is up, whether it's a 1 p.m. or it's 5 p.m. in a summer, or it's 8 p.m., doesn't matter. The light that makes everything shine, like all the flowers, the greenish green and all different greens you can see in a forest, in the countryside, the fields that you're traveling through on a asphalt in the Central Europe, and you see through your windshield, through your windows, all those beautiful colors that are literally swimming in a light, that are literally swimming in a sunlight. And this is kind of a thing that it's really, because it's the whole, it being a BMW made in the 80s and 90s, it's kind of a thing that makes me think about this time in Central Europe. But when it comes to it being a summer and not, for example, I don't know, let's say the E34 540i or M5, it might get me much more of a colder vibe, much more of a Autobahn thing, making businesses work, where it's kind of like I'm thinking about a track day. I know I can go and drive on a Nürburgring in a summer, in a beautiful day, and it kind of has this vibe of just enjoying the driving being the best thing that can happen on a best day in a year. And you know, so it being a BMW made in the 80s makes some things when it comes to my imagination, but it also being a supercar, having wheel arches and being just super cool and like a superhero, it makes me think about the summer and just the sunlight that kind of makes everything alive, and everything and the aliveness, the makes me think about the freedom. So the summer, the sunlight, it makes me think, it makes me feel the freedom, the feeling alive. And the same thing, like when it comes to it being a M3 and having all those cool features, it's kind of a thing that makes me think about the summer. It connects. It's like it's the same thing. This freedom and feeling alive in this car, and even when looking at the car, this is the vibe. Okay, so the things that I would do with the car, if I have one, it would be the first thing that comes to my mind, it's like the first thing that it comes to my mind is picking groceries in this thing, especially if I have a, let's say, 1 kilometer to the nearest grocery store or to my favorite grocery store. It would take me around 10 kilometers to make groceries. So this is the first thing that I'm thinking about. The second thing is that I would for sure not wake this car up early in the morning. Let's say that I need to do some business. I'd much rather think about the 7 Series, the S-Class, the E-Class, things like that, not a M3. It's reserved on a different occasions. I'm sleepy, she is also sleepy, and this is what I will not do with the car. Also the things, I would really like to use this car as a moving cinema, and a cinema being the view from my windshields and windows, especially when it comes to those fields and countryside and looking at the sun and sun setting. Another thing that I would use this car for is I would not like to be low-key. I would like to show off in the terms of sharing the car. I would really like to drive in places where young kids can go up to a car and look at it, touch it, and just enjoy it as much as I can do, enjoy it. As much. And so when it comes to this, it also comes with enjoying the view of the car. And not only in my garage, but not only in my garage, but much rather in beautiful places. And another thing that I think of, what can I do with the car? It kind of makes doing trips and not using autobahns, not using like not using any types of fast travel roads, like doing trips through local roads, and especially to like really hidden places, really not popular places. This is kind of what I think about. This kind of trips is, it's kind of like this Middle Europe countryside, summer Bavarian region or Switzerland region vibe of like just traveling and just local roads being so beautiful, especially that local roads have a lot of curves, a lot of corners, which suits this car really well. And the last thing I guess is I would love to spend most of my time in this car on corners, canyons, and different variations of asphalt, where in order to go straight or to not crash, you have to have your steering wheel steered to a right or to a left. This is where I want this car to be and where I want to be with this car. Every part of the road that this car travels, I wish it to be on a place, on a part of tarmac that you need to turn your wheel. to travel further, to travel further. This is my wish. This is extremely important. And in a day, I kind of don't feel like this is a night predator that can swallow corners in a night. I think it's a car that you might enjoy more in a day, in a sunlight, to see everything, to enjoy everything. Yeah, and there's also those corners, those roads. I wish them to be in a beautiful scenery of fields or trees, forest, greenish, green colors, and yeah. This is what I wish and what I would do with this car if I had one, and I will, and we will make a video about it. Okay, so the part that I forgot to mention is that how I would like this car to be modified or changed, or if I want to change anything about the car, what's in my mind about this topic. And we have a factory car, factory new, OEM, and it's perfect. Like I think that a car like this, without any modification, it's still just so amazing. But when I'm thinking about the E30 M3 particularly, when it comes to E30s, the whole lineup of the 3 Series, the thing is that I kind of think that when it comes to modern standards, and maybe not modern standards, but other cool cars that have a bit more power with the same size, it's kind of what I think is this car is a extremely balanced car, from what I heard, from what I saw, and from what I imagine. That the 4-cylinder is a perfect balance in this chassis, is a better than 6-cylinder, a longer engine and more heavier. But the thing is that it kind of lacks power. I mean, I didn't drive it, yeah, but I didn't drive it ever, but let's say the DTM version that had like 300 horsepower or 300 horsepower on the wheels. Yeah, this is a kind of a version that we would like to have, a 300 horsepower, this benchmark of 300 horsepower. And I kind of think like, yeah, it's a great idea, but how to achieve it? So I always think about, like, because 4-cylinder is perfect in this car. I think I don't want to change it. Plus, it's like original, it's OEM, the 4-cylinder in the E30, in the wheel arches. This is a thing. So the main modification in a car like this, it would be like getting this powered up. And what I think and what I thought before, when I was imagining myself owning such a car, it would be maybe not turbocharging the car, because I kind of feel like turbocharging is a bit too much. When you turbocharge car like this, like BMW M power engine, you end up beating Bugatti Veyron. So I don't think like it's subtle. I don't think it suits the vibe of the car. It suits the sporty, the kind of lightweight, it being like extremely good when it comes to handling, when it comes to working with the driver. It kind of goes in another direction, putting a turbo and having a lot of horsepower. It's kind of, you are getting into an area where this car feels really scary, where it wasn't designed to. It's a perfect car. It's a car that it doesn't drive for you, but it drives with you. It goes in the same direction. it's already synchronized. You don't have to do too much. It's like it already being in a float state. So it's not, I don't think it's the way. I much rather thought about putting a supercharger on this thing, kind of like those Mercedes 190e 2.3 compressor builds. Kind of this vibe, I think. Plus, in my mind, having a right supercharger, power is more linear. It has more naturally aspirated vibe than the turbocharging, and so I think this would be my first modification and most important modification in my mind in this car. If I had to if I had to build this car in my mind, in my garage, in my mind. but rather than that, I think the car is light. The car is only the second modification I would do is just wheels and kind of wheel setup. When it comes to suspension, how well they fill the wheel arches, how well they are kind of like spaced. This setup from the DTM, like racing, to have literally the I don't know how many inches the wheel had, but the same proportion of like the tire and the wheel and how they fill the arches. And I think it's it. The car it kind of lacks the power a bit. But what I want to say is that not too big of a wheels. I don't like those big wheels that people be putting on those cars. I think it's too much. It's like it makes this car heavier than it is. And even if it doesn't change how the car drives. I mean, if you put a lot of big tire with this engine, it kind of maybe doesn't work that well. But it feels heavy in your mind. I guess it's not the thing. It's not a muscular car. It's athletic. It's an athlete, not a bodybuilder. So I don't like this thing. I would not do it. The thing, but rather than that, oh, I can also tell you one thing. Those builds, when it comes to putting everything inside in this beautiful leather, I really appreciate that. Those builds where there's this new leather and everything is just so beautiful and such a craftsmanship and such a mastery to put such a thing together to make it look so beautiful. I really appreciate that, and I would think about it, but I think that I'd much rather like the already used leathers from just the car, because it gives the vibe. It gives the vibe because we are in the 2026 and this car is from 80s and 90s. And if you just put a new leather, it's not the same. Then it's the chassis that kind of like, then it's the car that kind of resembles what was, but I think it's really closer to what we are here right now, which is not the thing that I personally chase in those cars. I want the old leathers. I want everything like it is. I want it being from the 80s and 90s. I want it to be true and be itself like it is, because it makes it special. It makes it the legendary car that has so much soul and has so much memories inside in every part and element. And that's why I would not change it probably. I would stay with cracked up leather. I would stay with cracked up leathers rather than having new leather inside, because it takes away extremely important things from the car.